What is going on, everyone? I am here just for a second for another edition of Kids Throw 2 with the kids hosts, and it is content made for kids by kids. And I'm not really even supposed to be on here because I'm not a kid and I don't host this one. So I'm just going to do a quick introduction to welcome our awesome, esteemed guest, Jay Rubin. He is pro partner to Jordan Power and coming off a big world championship doubles win from Rock Hill, South Carolina last week, or I guess we're almost going on 2 weeks ago. So he is in the VIP winners circle of the cornhole players from Worlds. And it was really fun to watch. The girls might have some questions about that, or, kids ask the weirdest things. So who knows what we're going to go with that, but I'm going to go ahead and mute myself and turn it over to the girls. Y'all have fun.
Thank you so much for coming on with us today.
Thank you guys for having me. How are you?
Good.
Good.
So when you and Jordan came back and won the Worlds, how did y'all feel after you won it?
Felt great. I had come back and I've won games where I've had like large deficits, but it wasn't to win a world title or even, a pro national or shootout or anything of that nature. So for me, it was just, there was a bunch of like bottled up emotion from being down so much and then having to fight so hard because the game was out of reach for a long time, because they just kept 2-pointing us to death, an occasional 1 or 3 or whatever, but it felt great. You finally get over the hump. Jordan's got a big victory under his belt now. I add another bigger victory to my belt. This is the biggest one of them all. So it felt really good to get that title. And then, just in the fashion that we did it was icing on the cake.
What did you remember? We was actually headed home and we stopped at a restaurant and it was on the TV. And I remember watching y'all play and the next thing I know, y'all had won. And I was like, what?
That's why you never give up, right? That's why you play to 21. There's nothing round limited about it, and you just keep fighting and grinding, and hopefully some breaks go your way and you're able to capitalize where you got a chance to win the game.
What did you and Jordan do to celebrate?
Unfortunately, not much. I had to drive there because my flight got canceled. So I had to drive home shortly thereafter. So I hung around for a little bit. Talked with some people, took some pictures, signed some autographs. I had a drink in between and just kind of tried to take in the moment because I knew I couldn't last too long because I had to hop in a car and drive 14 hours back home. But hopefully we'll have an opportunity. We're out at another tournament somewhere and we can have that celebration together.
That's good.
Yes.
So we all have had our embarrassing moments that happen when we're playing. What is the most embarrassing one that you've had?
Ooh, embarrassing moment playing. That's a good one. There's not a ton of embarrassing moments. I guess maybe there were a couple times last year where I would double clutch when I threw on occasion. And I had to keep reminding myself that the boards were faster and I was using a fast bag. And I was using my big arm swing. And had I thrown that bag with my normal arm swing speed, that bag would never have stayed on the board. So I guess that's a little bit embarrassing. Not too much, but, something that was easily corrected. But besides that, maybe like an open board, where you just hit the side of the board for no reason and you just completely shank it. But outside that, I've never had too many embarrassing moments.
One of my embarrassing moments, like I've been on the broadcast court a couple times, either me getting a short and I like just hear people in the corner just say, ooh. And like either you throw it way off, it just makes me upset. And it's hard for me to.
Yeah, so when you're playing on a broadcast court or anywhere where there's people watching, try to stay focused on within that box, right? You got the 6-7 foot wide box on both sides, all the way down. Try to keep your focus there versus, directing it towards everything else that's going on outside of it. Because the only thing that matters is what is on the inside. Doesn't matter what the other people are saying, even if they're cheering for you. Keep a level of focus and then you'll find that that'll slowly drift away and you won't pay attention to it much.
Yeah, see, my thing is, like, if I'm just playing on not like one of the main courts, just like one of the regular ones, and somebody's going live on Facebook, I get like really nervous for some reason. But then if I do get on the broadcast court, I'm not nervous at all. I don't know what the difference is, but it's different.
So, I mean, you're probably more familiar with the faces that are going to call the game on a broadcast court versus a random opponent that's going to walk by and they're going to have, whomever record the game for them. So the best practice that I found was going live in your practice routines, in your games and everything else. Because then when somebody else walks up with a camera, it's nothing new or foreign to you, right? It's just a camera that's sitting there. But again, your focus shouldn't be focused on it, right? It's behind the board. It's out of play. You keep that focus there with the hole as well. So I would practice that and see how that works.
Okay.
How'd you come up with the nickname Jay Birdie Bird?
So I had some friends down in Florida who started calling me it started here with Jay Birdie. Then some guys down in Florida that we hung out with when we went to different tournaments started calling me Jay Birdie Bird. So it started with Jay Birdie, then went to Jay Birdie Bird. Now it's gone to Air Rubin, and who knows what else is next.
How do you feel? How do you feel when people call you that? Do you
It
get
don't bother
annoyed?
me.
No?
No. I've been called a lot worse in my life.
You mentioned being called Air Rubin, right? For your
Yeah.
airmails? So I've got a really good buddy, it's Jimmy McGuffin. If you had an airmail competition with him, do you think you could beat him?
Man, that's a tough one. Jimmy, in my opinion, from what I've seen, is probably the greatest air mailer of all time. With that being said, if you had a tough airmail drag competition, I think I could beat him in that. But just going airmail for airmail, I mean, I heard stories he hit like 95 out of 100, something along those lines. So, I mean, that's very difficult. Yeah, it's very difficult to beat, but I don't know if I could hit that high of a percentage. If he's going to hit in the 90s, I might hit on a good day, probably mid 70s, upper 70s, but that's tough. But I'd give the nod to Jimmy on that one.
Yeah.
What is a fun fact like to tell people about yourself?
Fun fact about myself.
Like you like to tell people.
What do I like to tell people? I played basketball I played in high school, but my academics weren't good enough, so I didn't make the team. But I got to play against Dwayne Wade in the high school gym once, playing 32 with a bunch of people. So, I had to see him a few times a year, and I got to play against him a couple times.
That's
Seems fun.
Was you nervous?
I'm sorry?
Was you nervous when you played against him?
No, I was never really nervous. I mean, it was high school. It was probably I don't even think he was a senior, so probably his junior year. But no, I was just going out there playing basketball. I was in his gym where they played at Richards. I just went out there and just played basketball and tried to have fun and see where I competed against them, because my school and their school were neck and neck in the conference for the standings to win our conference. So I just wanted to see, if I could compete with those guys, and the rest is history.
Wow. So speaking of school, growing up, what grade was your favorite that you went through?
I would probably say 7th grade. 7th grade, I played on 2 basketball teams. I played at the junior high, and then I also played at the Park District at the time. There wasn't too many like travel teams. It was kind of done within house. But one of my most memorable games playing basketball actually came in 7th grade. So I had a game to go to the championship that weekend, and I got what was called a quadruple double. And that's where I had 10 or more 4 different categories. So I had 10 or more points, rebounds, assists, and blocks that game. So I had a quadruple double, and that was really memorable that year, as I really got into basketball and becoming better.
Wow. So
Did you play any?
My favorite grade that I probably went through was probably either fourth or fifth grade. I miss it so much. It was so fun.
So what was memorable about fourth or fifth grade for you?
Just when we was at school, we would have so much fun, and it was just we would play. We had a full-on wiffle ball tournament at school one day.
Okay.
We had like, in order to make it even, we had like teams of like 6 or 8, and it was so much fun.
Cool.
Did you play any other sports besides basketball?
Yeah,
Like in school?
I played baseball. As I got older, I played softball. I played football, but it was just usually where we get 20, 30 guys together and we would play at one of the fields. So I did do a little bit of that. And then, I got into playing darts when I first started getting into bars at 21. So I would play darts. So I did a little bit of everything. Some I was better at than others, but I was just always athletic and had a lot of competition in me. So I like to compete.
Yeah, you mentioned
me too.
softball. I'm actually a big time travel softball player. We go to a bunch of showcase tournaments and college
Yeah.
select tournaments.
Okay.
And I've been playing ever since I was probably 6. So I'm 14 now. So I've been a little
So what
bit.
position do you play?
I catch and I play middle infield, so shortstop, second, and catch.
Oh, so you got a good arm.
Yeah.
Good for you. Stick with it.
I normally bat I'll lead off most of the time, or I'll bat second or fourth. So
Okay.
anywhere at the top of the lineup is where
Enjoy it. I'm telling you, the time goes by very fast. So enjoy it while you're doing it.
Yeah, I love it.
If you could come up with one rule everyone had to follow, what would it be?
One rule everyone had to follow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. You're really going to stump me on that one. One rule everybody would have to follow. All right. And this comes to when you guys are old enough to drive, because this is kind of a pet peeve for me. If you're driving in the far left-hand lane on the expressway, do not do under the speed limit. Everybody's got to go at least 5 to 10 miles over the speed limit in the left-hand lane. I don't like the speed limit's 70 on the expressway. Most of the people will probably do 75 to 80. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. But there are times where you'll go to left-hand lane and there's a truck in that lane going 60 miles an hour and there's nobody in front of them. So it's kind of a little pet peeve of mine, but I would say that rule.
If you ever won the lottery, what would you do?
Oh, man. If I won the lottery, obviously I'm quitting my job. I'm going to upgrade my house. I'm going to have a nice piece of property tucked away where nobody can find me unless you know where I live and I give you my address. But then I'm going to set my kids up financially to where, they're going to be able to go to college and do all the things, that I necessarily didn't do. And then, I'll have me a little vacation home somewhere. And then I'm going to travel, watch my kids grow up, play, their sports, be more of a stay-at-home dad. Be active in their lives as much as possible, and then travel playing professionally. So I still got something to do where I'm just not sitting at home all the time.
Yeah.
What do you do for your job?
So right now I work for a company called US Foods, and I buy all kinds of different meats. So I buy steaks, I buy bacon, pork chops, ribs, things of that nature. And I buy for like North Carolina and South Carolina. So the different restaurants will purchase the food from us. So I'll look at a series of numbers and decide how much food I need to bring in for that week, or several weeks for them. And that's about it. Nothing glamorous.
If you had to choose between skill, talent, or money, which one would you choose and why?
Skill, talent, and money, you said?
Yeah. If you had to choose one, which one?
So I would say talent, because talent, you'll develop the skill, which then ultimately becomes rewarding financially down the road where you make the money. So I'd rather have that and then build off of it. I've always had to work hard for the things I've wanted or needed, where I didn't necessarily have everything handed to me. I had to really work for things in life. So it taught me a lot about working hard. So I wouldn't want just a lump sum of money handed to me. I would want to work for it and earn it.
That's probably exactly what I would say, because it makes sense, because if you got your talent, it, like you said, it develops into skill, and that can be a way, especially like professional level, you can go in, and then comes your money. So
Absolutely.
What song would you like playing every time you enter the room?
Which song?
Yeah.
Ooh, that is a good one. My favorite song that I've listened to the most when I've worn headphones on ESPN, there's actually two of them. It's Notorious Thugs with Bone Thugs and Harmony and Biggie Smalls. And then Eminem from 8 Mile. I just clipped the video of that. Lose Yourself.
yeah,
And I just clipped all my airmails that I just hit in the championship match, last weekend or 2 weeks ago almost. So that would be kind of be a cool one too to come out to. So one of those two.
Yeah. Have you tried making instead of clipping them together, put them in a playlist? Or having the songs go over? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I like to do.
Yeah, so I actually made a playlist after the first national, and it said National Championship Playlist. Even though I didn't win, we lost on TV, but I made that playlist. But I didn't get to use headphones. But when I was walking around the facility, I might turn my phone on low and just turn on the playlist and start listening to a few songs to kind of get my mind where I want it to be.
why do you and Jordan always wear your hat backwards?
So for me, there's a level of confidence or swagger. One of my favorite baseball players was Ken Griffey Jr. He played in the 90s, late 80s, early through the 90s, early 2000s. And when he would be out there practicing, or he was in home run derbies or taking batting practice, he always turned his hat backwards. So for me, I would always turn my hat backwards because that's where I want to be locked in. That's where I feel comfortable. That's where I feel the most confident. So when I got the backward hat going, I feel like I'm on top of the world.
Yeah, MLB, me and my mom and my dad, we're really big into it. And Derek Jeter, Ken Griffey, all of them is who I look up to. For catching, it's probably Yadier Molina. We
Okay.
both,
Yeah,
but,
all three of them are great players and great role models as well.
and like you said, with your hat making you comfortable and you feel like you got swag and stuff. That's the same way with my headband that I wear when I play. It's kind of like a superstitious thing. When I have it, I'm just I'm gonna throw good. I'm gonna do this and this and this.
That's
So,
exactly, it's a superstition thing. You hit the nail on the head with that one.
yeah.
If you could choose between being invisible or being able to fly, which one would you choose?
I'm sorry, you cut out. What did you say?
If you could be able to choose between being invisible or being able to fly, which one would you choose?
I would say I would probably be invisible. Flying would probably require too much work. I don't know if I'm going as fast as an airplane. So I'd rather be invisible because I can kind of sneak around where I want to. I can hear conversations without anybody seeing me. So I would go with invisible.
Yeah. Well, if you was invisible, if you was playing a game, you could just pick up your bags and go throw it in the hole. So that way you don't even.
That is true. That is true. I could do that. The airmails would be a little bit harder, just kind of dropping a bag and letting it fall in. But for a slide shot, yes, I could do that easily.
If I could be invisible, if I would ever made on ESPN play, I'd probably be invisible and go see what Trey Ryder's comments are. Be funny.
He's talking all day. Him and Jeff and Bernie, and Michelle. I mean, they're always having conversations behind the scenes, even when they're not mic'd up on ESPN. But you'll definitely hear some information you probably wouldn't hear otherwise.
Yeah. Okay. Well, do you when you get on ESPN or even a small broadcast score, do you get nervous or anything?
No. So I learned early that I was going to have to, if I wanted to be good and I want to consider myself good or great, I was going to have to be on that broadcast court often. So you may not play your early games on it, but the deeper you get in the tournament, it's like, oh, Jay Rubin is playing Jordan Power. You win that game, say next game, now it's Jay Rubin, Jamie Graham to go to the king seed of your bracket. You have to learn to be comfortable up there. So I went up there with no reservations. I wanted to fail and I wanted to succeed. And the reason I say fail is failing on stage, you're going to learn the things that you did wrong and how you can change it and apply it to be more of a success later down the road. So times where, I might not want to take that shot, it's like, why not take that shot? You're going to have to do this shot at some point in time again. You might be on ESPN, you might be on a side court, but why not do it in the biggest stage in front of everybody? And if you hit it, everybody's going to love it, right? So I didn't get held back by taking chances or being scared to fail.
How did you and Jordan Power wind up getting partnered up this season?
So me and Jordan, we got partnered up when we talked. It was last year at Rock Hill. I asked him if he was looking for a partner because I already knew that me and my partner were going to part ways. And we just got done playing the Conference Cup, and we lost the championship game of the Conference Cup 4-3 in the second series of it because we won the first. So after he was done, he ended up playing, I think, Matt Guy, and I just got done playing Brett Guy. And, we were on the side talking about things, and I proposed the idea to him, like, hey, man, if you need a partner for next year, let me know, because I loved his confidence. I saw, obviously, the skill that he had. And I was like, if I can get this guy across from me, I'm like, I know we're going to be a dynamic team. And there shouldn't be any reason why we don't finish top 3 in the world, if not better. So the rest is history.
Wow.
I'm gonna be careful. I'm gonna try to be partnered up with Jordan Power in mixed doubles.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, in Worlds, he asked me to be his partner for co-ed, but I had juniors at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, I couldn't partner up, but he said next time.
Okay. What kind of bags do you throw? You throw the similar bag?
No, I throw lucky bags, but I can throw ultra too.
You throw surefires or pro snipers?
Yeah, surefires.
Me and Nate normally, we love to throw co-ed together. He's like my big brother, and I've always said that. And it's just when we're throwing with each other, it's like, I don't know, we're unstoppable. So
It's a good feeling to have.
yeah, which he normally throws. He's like in Game Changers right now. But we're normally throwing like BGs because that's what I throw. So it's just, I don't know, it's crazy.
Find a middle ground that works for both of you guys.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What kind of ultras do you throw?
Oddly enough, I've thrown a lot of different ultras this year at tournaments. So the funny thing is me and Jordan, between the Opens and Nationals and Worlds, so a total of 9 events, I bet you we used a brand new series of bags. Now, it could have been a repeat bag, probably 5 or 6 times. So we used 3 sets of Widow Bees. We used a set of Viper Bees that were mine. We used somebody else's set of Viper Bees, and we used my Psycho X's. So that's 6 that I know of out of the 9 tournaments that we played in, where we used a different bag each time.
Which bag is your favorite to throw?
So my favorite one to throw is probably, so there's 2 sides to this. So if I'm playing on a broadcast court on ESPN, that board is faster. So I want the slower bag. So I'll go with the Widow Bee in that scenario. However, if we're playing on a slower board, I want to use the Psycho X because that bag's going to be more, hole friendly, more conducive to going in and things like that. So I'm one to play board conditions. Like the bags I'll figure out, that's not an issue, but I want the best bag for the speed of the board.
If if you could choose 3 words to describe yourself, which 3 words would you choose?
3 words to describe myself. I would say I'm laid back. I am driven, and I'm humble. Contrary to some might believe that I'm humble or not, I'm actually very humble. I'm very confident in what I do, and sometimes people don't know the difference between the two, but I would go with those 3.
Yeah, I could see that.
You gotta be, no matter how good you get in this game, you gotta remain humble, right? At one point, you weren't the best player in the world. You were really bad. But then as you got better, it's okay to have a little bit of swag and confidence, right? You can walk that fine line, but still remember to be humble, during the process, because there's other people that are at that beginning level or that middle tier level that haven't gotten there yet. So you got to treat everyone the same.
Do you have any friends who are pros that you're close with? Really close with?
Sorry, I can't hear you. My dog's going nuts because my daughter went downstairs. Do I have any pros that are what?
Do you have any friends who are pros that you're really close with?
I do. Lester Price and me, he was my former partner. Me and him are very, very good friends. Kevin Smith, a buddy out of Florida. We're also very good friends. Paul Hardy, who was down there, he was in the PDC this year. Just meeting these guys, traveling with them, talking, hanging out, you develop, great relationships. Damon and Philip, I absolutely love those guys. They're 2 of my favorite players in the game. But yeah, there's quite a few out there.
Okay, well, we're ready to wrap it up. Do your kids want to pop in and say hi?
Probably not. Juliana, you want to say hi? I know that. Do you want to come in and say hi?
Sure.
All right, my daughter will come say hi. My son's taking a nap, which I got to get him up from. So here is my daughter, Juliana. She will be 10 years old in November.
I actually read your mind when they said the invisibility thing. I said invisibly before you said it.
Did you? See, she knows Dad.
Okay, well, we appreciate you coming on with us today.
Yeah.
Thank you, girls. I had a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too.
Good luck to you and Jordan at y'all's tournaments coming up.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Good luck to you girls as well.
Thank you.